Hello everyone, and welcome to this video regarding the Tribute to D-Day DLC for Steel Division 2. We are talking about the 6 new divisions coming to the game and a couple of features coming with the patch, but mostly focusing on the DLC. And let's start in directly here with the first Panzerna. And yeah, that's the third Polish division we got here, after the two we got in the Warsaw DLC. So the Polish nation gets one more old friend back that we had in Steel Division Normandy 44, as all the other divisions are also out of Normandy 44, which doesn't mean that there are no changes to these divisions. First of all, they're included into Steel Division 2, means you have to pick an income. They don't have a bound income, and units are more freely to pick, though they have a bit more limitations than you usually have, and then with other Steel Division 2 divisions. So here we go, Recon. Yeah, you get Morris LRC. I guess a couple of you guys are happy about these guys, though I guess in Steel Division 2 they will be even more of a meme unit than they were in Normandy. So, but we have to see how they will play out. But yeah, 20mm penetration is nothing, and yeah, for 15 points, I guess you want to have more. 15 frontal armor is also not a lot. Then yeah, the rest of their units in the Recon tab aren't really impressive either. I guess you want to take the Piat guys maybe. So you have some more Piat. It's kind of similar to the Piat units you have in the 15th Scott. And then yeah, you have Stuarts and Cromwells. The first Cromwells we got in the game. That's the big thing about the first Polish Cromwells. The infantry is pretty standard, what you expect from a British equipped unit. Streltsys, Brand, Lee's stands, then some TNT, more here, nothing special really here. The Dragoni, like, yeah, if you know them from Normandy, you know what they get. They get a Piat, they get a Brand, they got some Lee Enfields, they got a stand, and then the Saperzi get a flamethrower, and in the 10-man squad. So yeah, not really the best infantry, but really that's not what this division is all about. The infantry slots are rather limited, but yeah, it's a tank division after all. Then we come to the tank slots, and here it gets more interesting, because yeah, we have a lot of Stuart 5s. Not the best tank, not the worst tank. Yeah, one of the better light tanks, I think, in the game. Then we have some Cromwells, and yeah, these guys are pretty fast. And yeah, they're pretty solid tanks, though yeah, it's questionable if you want to pick them over Shermans in the end. I guess the Cromwell 5s you want because they're really cheap. With the Cromwell 6s, 7s, I'm not too sure if you want to pick them over Sherman 5s. Because yeah, you have 120mm frontal armor, so that's the difference. But you lose the MGs, so you gotta see what you get there. And also the other issue is you get a lot less of these guys. Like, a lot less. Like, only a bit more than half. And they only come in C, so yeah, it's a medium tank in C, so you gotta see where this goes. Because this is one of the units that is limited. It's just like the Firefly 1 here, which is only limited coming in A phase. But the Fireflies are good, and yeah. Fireflies are not as amazing as in Normandy, but still really good tanks. Support tab, you get your Cromwell 6s. You don't get any flamethrowers. This is a really big weak spot compared to other divisions. And then yeah, you got your Vickers, you got your your 50mm mortars, and then your commanders. Nothing special here. And the tank gun is also classic British Piat 6-pounder, 17-pounder Achilles. Anti-air is Crusader, also pretty British. You get the triple AA Crusaders. Those are interesting. Don't know how good they are here. I haven't tested them out really. Triple 20 molds. I think with veterancy these things will kill a lot of stuff, but we have to see. Yeah. Artillery P is also pretty standard. Sextons for 95 points, 25-pounders, and all that sweet stuff. And then we come to the air, which is filled with Hurricanes and Mosquitoes. But yeah, the Hurricanes are still pretty good. They're not as amazing as in Normandy, but yeah, that's because air is not as amazing as it is in Normandy, which is a good thing. So yeah. But the air tab is still pretty strong, as you get a lot of cheap stuff. 295 point bombers with 230 kilogram bombs is really good. Like, this thing deletes every emplacement, and you get 2 cards of these. Availability is not too great, but yeah, your first 3 slots are rather cheap, so I guess if you go with an aggressive deck with Polish, you take these. Otherwise, you go for the Mosquitoes, because their availability is a bit better. Like this Mosquito. And yeah, that's the first Panzerna. Let's move on, because this is a quick guide. We get the second infantry Indian Head. My favorite division for the Allies in Normandy, and I think they will maybe return to that spot in Steel Division 2 as well. So what do we get here? We start in the recon slot with Jeeps, not too great. You might pick them, but I don't think, because you have pretty good options here. The recons are not great either, but here we go. Ranger Marauders, those are the guys you want. A bazooka, 3 Thompsons, and an anti-tank grenade. So yeah, even if something gets through the bazooka, it might die to class. Then you got your sniper, which is also pretty good. Like, it's your basic sniper. And then you get an M8, and I think that's the cards where you have to choose your slots for. Like, if you take the 2 Marauders, if you take 2 snipers, or if you want to take an M8. And here we go with the infantry. There's one more really new unit here, 2 really new units. The basics, which are not basically the Ersatztruppen of the Americans. 30-man squad for 20 points with M1 Grants and M1 Carabines. So not the best in long-range engagements, but really good for mid-range. They're disheartened though, because they're conscripts and not volunteers. So yeah, that's the first disheartened unit for the Western Allies, which is really cool, I think. And a really good addition to the roster. Assault Group is a weird unit. It is an 8-man squad for CQC. Like, it's basically the Automachiki of the Americans. So it has more, much more HP. So these guys are better, but they only come in VNC, and you usually want to have your CQC units coming in A. So you have to see if you want to take them, especially in an infantry tab that is this filled with good units. Engineers, this is your classic unit. Rangers LMG, 20-point units with 2 Brownings. Not the greatest availability, as they come with 2 veterancy. You can fill them in as your long-range fire support, but you have to be careful, and you have to see that you get enough availability with other cards so you can afford them. Then your Ranger leaders, TNT, the solid A availability. So yeah, a good 4-man leader squad. Rangers, flamethrowers, yeah, you know these guys from Normandy. It's your flamethrower guys with really good HE damage with their SMGs as well, and good smoke grenades. Like, yeah, Ranger leaders here, after the engineer leaders. Ranger leaders are a 4-man squad as well, also have TNT. They have the same price, but they're only 2, but it's 2 with 2 veterancy, so you have to see if you want to get that for the extra range of their boost. Rifles are your classic rifles. You know them from, yeah, the 2 bars, and 1 Garance, 1 Thompson. Good unit for 30 points. They deal quite a lot of damage, but yeah, they are not the cheapest infantry unit, but yeah, they're your go-to unit here. And then you have the demolition group, the new addition for Normandy, together with the basics. They come with Bazooka, a flamethrower, so really versatile here. Not the best long-range engagement, just really a mid-range town fighting unit you want to have in areas that is not open. And yeah, but these guys only come in C-phase because they came into the division pretty late. They created them for some town fighting. So yeah, that's that. And then you have your rifle leaders, which are also really interesting. They come in A, B, and C in okay availability, and they have a sniper and a bazooka. That's the first sniper leader, I think, for the Western Allies as well, so this is really cool. Tanks, really basic, Shermans, Stuarts. Support tab, got the T-30 again, so this boy is back. You got a Crocodile even, but that also comes only in C-phase, as this also came into the division late in support for, I think, La Rochelle, the fighting in La Rochelle, but don't quote me on that one. Flamethrowers you get with them as well, so that's something they get over the Panzerna. And yeah, HMGs, everything else here is pretty standard. And your German support. Anti-tank, also relatively standard, with one addition. M18 Hellcats, and these things are amazing. The aim time they have, plus their mobility, makes them as annoying as they were in Normandy. Sure, they don't have the range advantage they had over tanks in Normandy, but they are still really amazing. And for 50 points, you really take them. Though they only come in B here, but that's fine. You take them in B and they do everything you want them to do. Anti-air, Bofors, M16, you take the Bofors. Artillery commander, mortars, artillery, howitzers, like really a lot of choices here. Long toms, off map, and then the xylophones. These things are actually not that amazing. They are basically on Katyusha level of damage and suppression. You don't really want to take those, sadly. So yeah, stay away from them. They're kind of a noob grab. Long toms are good though, and yeah, as are the other artillery units here. So yeah, still one of the best artillery divisions in the game, even with the Xylophone being a bit of a disappointment. And then we come to the air tab, and my favorite ace of all time. I think the best ace when it came to kill death ratio in Normandy, Gabby. I think this guy nearly never died. Like in the all time of Normandy, I would be surprised if he was shot down more than 100 times in all games played in Normandy. This guy was just so amazing. And yeah, he's back. So yeah, get him and shoot down some Germans. And yeah, the rest of the tab is also a lot of P-47s and a couple of P-38s. So yeah, that's all you get here. No heavy bombers, no medium bombers, no Mustangs, but yeah, this is still a solid air tab. And let's move on to a division that has a pretty good air tab. And that is also having air in its name, and that's the 6th Airborne. And you can see from the Recons tab, these guys are a bit different. And yeah, another flag here came in, another nationality added with this division. The Belgians are here. This is in addition to Steel Division 2, they didn't have them in Normandy, and they even have voice lines for all these guys, so yeah, Fusion really put work into this DLC. It's not just a copy-paste thing. Yeah, we have airborne snipers, we have scouts, we have the Belgian version of scouts, we have Belgian Little Johns and Tetrarchs, pretty good. You take the Little John though, no really reason to take the Tetrarchs. Little Johns. Penetration is pretty good on these guys, so yeah. 130mm on 1000 meter range though, so you have to get a bit sneaky with them, but that's not the hardest thing to do. Infantry, you get Glider Crews. Those are pretty shitty, but they are also disheartened, so that's the second disheartened unit for the Western Allies. That is also pretty solid in doing a job as mid-range infantry, just cannon fodder. It's the same job that the Ersatztruppen do, though they have a bit better CQC as they have 3 stands. Those stands is not the best CQC weapon. Air landings, have a Piat, have a Bren gun, so that's your basic infantry to go to. Other than other British divisions, this division will not have an issue with anti-tank infantry. Infantry anti-tank. And Piats are really good in Steel Division 2, so yeah, stick with them. Grenadier Volts, your Belgian kind of way of this, though they have 2 Bren guns, but don't have a Piat, but a Gambond instead. So yeah, you have that trade-off. Both cost the same, so yeah, you gotta see what you take in B phase. As they both come with 18 points availability, but the air landings come with 1 regency. So yeah, gotta see what you take there. A little bit better anti-tank or a little bit more firepower long-range engagements. Then you get your Canadian leaders and your Canadian paras, which have a bit of a weird setup here as well. They come with veterans here as well. They have your anti-tank grenade here as well. And they have your Bren gun here. Airborne engineers, pretty much your basic engineer squad, more like your German pioneer squad, because they also have a long-range weapon with Bren gun. Airborne leaders, your airborne paras. Those are the standard ones. Gammon bombs and your your Belgian commanders with a Piat and smoke, so pretty versatile leader here. The rifle leaders having only a Piat. Airborne paras with Piat. and Ox and Bucks. The guys to go to for some heavy lifting in CQC, as they have 3 HE grenades. And some prank guns as well. So these guys are versatile, but other than the other way around from Normandy, because here they don't have any anti-tank, whilst in Normandy they were the guys bringing the Pia to the battlefield for the 6th Airborne. Tank tab is pretty underwhelming. We get more Cromwells here though, so that's something. And then we get the Challenger, a tank we also didn't have before, but yeah. This guy might get a price change, but I don't think he will. Like, this is still a pre-build. If he's on 80 points, it's not the best tank, guys. You might want to stay away from this and stick with Tetrax and your anti-tank tab. Support, you get your AB Jeeps, your AB Flamers, so yeah, nothing special here. Centaur, pretty good support tank, but yeah, not as amazing because no range advantage compared to Normandy. And your commander. Anti-tank tab is 6-pounder, the stolen Pak 45, the 70 Pak 40 that they also had in Normandy, and 17-pounders and Piats. No armored anti-tank. Anti-air is also pretty limited, as you only have short-range anti-air, so this is something to worry about. But artillery is nice because yeah, you get the big one boy of maps here, and the howitzers and 25-pounders are also really good. And then in air, you get a lot of lovely stuff. You got your Mosquito recon planes for 35 points. You got your Mosquito fighters, which are pretty fast, or relatively fast, and have a lot of firepower for 90 points. Your Mosquito bombers with a lot of bombs for solid availability, and you got 2 cards of these. Your Mosquito Pathfinders with also solid availability, and your nasty napalm bomb store there will not be as annoying as in Normandy because there's more roads here available and stuff. So you cannot just shut down complete roads like you were able in that game. And then you got your Tempests. And with bombs, Tempest with bombs. For the better version of the Mosquitoes basically. Like faster, much faster. Same damage output. I think even better agility. So yeah, better agility as well. And then you have your Typhoons with anti-tank rockets to do the anti-tank support that this division really needs because you don't have any good tanks. So yeah, that's the allies. Let's move over to the Axis. And we go in with 12 SS Panzer. Where is it? There. 12 SS Panzer Hitlerjugend. And yeah, they get your armored support recon tab with a lot of interesting stuff, and the Boy the Firefly. Like, yeah, the boy's back. They moved him from tank to the recon tab because yeah, in the tank tab, one unit with 1 regency would be absolutely useless. He even got HG shells now, so yeah. In the recon tab though, you might want to take this guy. But you have to think about between him and the Panther. And then also all the armored cars. Like, there's a lot of good choices here to make. Like, a lot of choices to make, and yeah, you have to find the right one for your deck. Infantry tab, not that many slots, but good units here. You got your Pioneer Führer, you got your Pioneer Hitlerjugend, and there's a new trait that you can see on the skull here, and that is Fanatical. And Fanatical does achieve that these guys don't surrender. So yeah, these guys will not surrender to you, you have to kill them, which makes them really annoying to deal with. They still get pinned down, but they don't surrender. And this is really annoying. So you really have to... These units will be really strong. Then you have your... like, all their units have that. Like, they are all copies of other units, like your Sturm Pioneers, your Panzer Grenadiers, Rebel Grenadier Panzerfaust, but they all have the Fanatical trait. Yeah, showing that these guys really very stupid. These guys, and not giving up. Like, availability on these guys is not amazing, so that is something. But it's still okay. And yeah, they cost on the normal price. Yeah, veterancy is also like the normal one, I think. So yeah, these guys are not more high veterancy than normal guys because these are fresh recruits, but these are really well indoctrinated recruits. So yeah, that's what they get for because of that. That's the new trait, and it's a good one. It's a good trait. And in the tank tab, you get another old guy back that we know from Normandy, with a nice skin, and that is Tiger Evisman. And then you get a lot of Panthers, and Tigers. You like really can choose between what you want there. And then you get a lot of Panzer 4Hs, so yeah. And one card of Panzer 4Js. No cheaper tanks, no Panther 3s or anything, but yeah, one card of Panzer 4Js does the job there, I think, and then you go with the big boys. In the support tab, you get your Fulton Memory, you have Flammenwerfers, Flammenpanzer, still not the greatest tank. But the 2 cards of IGs are really nice, and then yeah, you get your standard stuff. So yeah, when you get your Flammenwerfers, this is really good for this division because yeah, they don't have the most amount of infantry. But these guys don't get the fanatical trade. Anti-tank tab is really limited. And yeah, you have to see how you take it. I don't think you take Panzerschrecks in this division, you really need this for the Pack 40s and maybe Jagdpanzer. But I think you want to take 2 Pack 40 cards here instead. Not having any light anti-tank might harm this division. Yeah, Flak 38s, Flak 36s, Möbelwagens, Flak 41s, Whirlwinds, really nothing you miss in this AA tab. Like, yeah, Flak 36s are the weaker ones. The other 37mm of the Germans are better, but still, it's okay. And yeah, the Möbelwagen with the Flak 43 version on it is really good as well. And the 50mm of armor also makes it rather resilient. Artillery wise, you get a lot of standard stuff, and you get it in unarmored and armored version. Like you get your Vesper, you get your Hummel, and you get your SK-18s, so a lot of choice here. Also relatively many slots. Like, yeah, 7 slots with still 2 costs per slot, but the air tab is rather limited. You have your Fokker Wolves in a lot of versions and 1 card of Ju 188, but only with 50 kg bombs, so really not the best air slot. But yeah, you have a lot of good other cards, so this division will be a good tank division, I think. And yeah, you have the AA tab to defend in the air as well, and Fokker Wolves are good fighters, so you have that for you. Just not the bombing you might want to have. So yeah, now we move on to the 17th SS. Götz von Berliching. Recon wise, what do you expect from Panzergrenadier? Some armored recon, some Spray Truppen. The armored cards are really good, you want to take them. Don't think you want to take the Spray Truppen here. Infantry, also rather standard, but one new addition, and that is the SS Legionary. They also get the Fanatical trait, and they are a pretty good CQC unit. You have 4 Berettas, you have 4, yeah, with 150mm 50-meter range, so it's not the best damage output SMG, but you can open fire before the enemy. So really a unit you want to have your opponents run into. They're basically kind of like the Finnish units, because they also have their extra range on their SMG. They have good medium range rifle, a Panzerfaust and Molotovs. So yeah, really good CQC unit. You really want to have these guys in towns and forests. And then for the medium range, you have your Volksdeutsche, and you have Panzergrenadiers, and then Pioneers and Store Pioneers. At the moment your SS Legionaries run out. You have a lot of infantry slots, so you can really put a lot of units in here. The availability on these guys even is not that bad, considering that they come with retinue, so yeah. You get a lot of infantry here. In tank you don't have that many choices though. You only have Stokes, Stoke Force though, so it's the better Stoke version. And yeah, you get them as leader and as normals. They come with a solid availability. I guess you want to go with 1 veterancy on them. And then yeah, that is that. Infantry support tab is also pretty standard. Flammenwerfers, 1 IG card, couple of MG42s, 2 cards of IG33s, but you don't really want to take these. And then yeah, you get your Befehl Traktion as your commander. So this is a really nice card, commander card, really fast, 115 kilometers on the road. But yeah, you gotta be careful with this guy, because there's 1 grenade hit next to it and it's dead, like 1 mortar hit next to it and it's dead, so you have to be careful. It's maybe a weaker commander than other infantry divisions. I think you want to rather get an infantry commander, but it's at least fast, so you can move it around quickly. And then in the anti-tank tab, there's another lovely surprise here compared to Normandy. That's another Krupp 88mm anti-tank gun. So now 120th is not the only infantry division with this boy, and you even get a lot of Jagdpanzers, though they only come in BKs. But this means you don't have to rely on your Stoke Force for armored units. You can take those in early game, and then in the mid and late game you can rely on your Jagdpanzers instead. Together with the Pack 43s, And the Pak 40s, this division can fight heavy armor, so another division that can deal with these nasty IS-2s in team games and also in 1v1s. A-Tab also really standard, all you need here, really a bit limited in slots, but still totally fine. Artillery, you get your Naval Werfers, and you get Naval Werfers 42, Naval Werfer 41s. 41s are not that good, 42s are relatively good. You get off-map, and then you get a lot of choices in bigger guns. Even some Soviet... oh no, that's a German. Is it the Soviet or is it German? I don't know. I think it's German 120mm mortar, but yeah, you get big mortars, you get small mortars, and you get a lot of artillery choices. And in the air, it's all MEs and Ju-87s. You get your G1s as well, your cannon birds, and then you might want to choose these if you want to have a fast anti-tank, though they have less availability than the cannon. No, they have the same availability, but they cost a bit more. Thought they had less, but yeah. These guys are also really good. You get, like, the Ju-88S1 really has good availability here as well. So this is a nice anti-air tab as well. But let's get to the division, which I think most people waited for. The German Fallschirmjäger division. The third of that. So here we go. Third FJ. Fallschirmjäger Scharfschützen in your good old Italian Spreewagen. Your Fallschirmjäger Panzerabwehr with an LMG, a Panzerschreck, 4 MP40s and 5 G43s. So these guys really mean business. Availability on these guys is not great, but yeah, I think you might still want to take these because they are really an all-around good unit. Though you have to see how many slots you want to take. If you rather want to take the Fallschirmjägers, the Fallschirmjäger Scharfschützen. And then we got two infantries. There you have your Luftwaffe Jägers, your disheartened basic boys that come in B and C as the spam. Good availability on these guys. And you got two cards. Your Storm Pioneer, your Luftwaffe Führers. This guy is pretty nice with his two FGs. And then yeah, your 4-man, a bit cheaper. Though I think you want to stick with this one if you don't need the smoke of the Luftwaffe Führer. Or you go for the availability. That's like, yeah, if you need the availability, you go for the Luftwaffe Führer. If you want to have the better damage output, you want to go for the two FGs. And yeah, that's the new weapon. That also is on the Fallschirmjägers. 2 FG42s, 6 G43s, and 2 LMGs. And the FG42 is a really good weapon. 600 meter range, pretty good accuracy, pretty good damage as well. Like, you see, 2 of these have more damage than 6 of the G43s. That tells you everything you need to know. These guys mean business. If something goes into a range of 600 meter, it gets damaged by 2 damage here from the LMG and the FGs. So yeah, as soon as something gets into 600 meters, these guys deal a lot of damage. So the enemy really has to be careful when moving into these guys. And then you even have a better unit with the Fallschirmjäger Sturmjäger with 2 LMGs, 2 FGs, and 4 MP44s. These guys are crazy when it comes to damage output. So yeah, anything coming into 300 meter range of these, especially as they come with 1 veterancy, gets deleted. And they come in okay availability now, so you have to be careful. Like, they're basically nearly as deadly or as deadly as Storm Pioneers, so you have to be careful. No, but Glide Pioneers. Nearly as deadly as Glide Pioneers, and they have double the availability. So you have to be careful around these. In the tank tab, you got your all 6s back. They're not as amazing as they were in Normandy, but they're still great. I still think you want to take them in A. And then you want to go for Stoken in B. You see though, you don't get any one of those at the C phase, so you might want to play this deck more aggressively. Support tab, the special thing here, other than all the standard stuff like a Stu and Flammenwerfers, is the LG42, which has 1500 meter range, which is a range we don't have yet in the game, I think. And it has AP and AG shells, with a good fire rate of 10 rounds per minute. It's okay accuracy, not great though, but also 100 meter of penetration, which is pretty good for 50 point unit, though the availability on these links is not amazing. So you have to see if you fit them in, but I could see me fitting at least one card of them in. I don't think I will fit in both cards. Anti-tank tab, is what what you're used to from the FJs in Normandy. Pipien, Gerliche for your light anti-tank guns. Both really cheap and do a pretty okay job. Like, yeah, 120mm of penetration is not too shabby for a small anti-tank gun, though the penetration doesn't deal too much damage, but with 14 rounds per minute at one regency, they really get the damage out there. And the Pipien only has 500m of range, so it's not the greatest unit in Normandy. In Steel Division 2, as you don't get units too often into 500m range, but for ambush, this unit is amazing as well. Has solid accuracy and 200mm of penetration. And then yeah, you have your Pak 40, your Pak 38, and your Fallschirmjäger Panzerschrecks, which are two-man Panzerschreck, your basic Panzerschreck basically. Anti-air is not that amazing, but you have a lot of slots, so yeah, you can fit it on your Flak 41s. You only have one card of 37mm, but yeah, that should be okay. Artillery, not much on-map artillery, but you get 2 off-map cards that are good, so yeah, really fits the aggressive style of this division, I think. I think they will be more aggressive than in Normandy. And your air tab is filled with stuff. You got your Ju-88s, your Me-410s with 500 kilogram bombs, your ME or Me-410s or Me-109 fighters, and then all the anti-tank planes. And your Ju-88s with napalm bombs. And yeah, that's it for all the divisions. Other than that, there will be a couple of balance patches. I think fighters overall got a bit cheaper. And yeah, some other units got nerfed, like the IL-2 KR and stuff. So yeah, overall balance in the other divisions also got better. But yeah, you can see that in the patch notes when they come out. And then there's one more thing that comes around, and that is Army General multiplayer in 1 vs 1 mode. The co-op mode will come out soon, but yeah, you get there by multiplayer, custom game, strategic, and then you can choose here the 1v1 mode. It works, and it works basically like the from single player, just that the other guy plays the AI, and that makes it much better because the AI is not the most intelligent one in moving their units. And an opposite player, it makes actually quite a lot of fun to play these. So yeah, see you guys there. This went actually much longer than I wanted it to be, but yeah. I guess 6 divisions are still a lot of stuff to talk about, and I'm really hyped for this DLC. And I hope to see you all on the battlefield when we all are able to fight each other with these sexy divisions. See you there.